Okay. Let's begin with our chapter 3, children, metals and non-metals, and then your physical properties, chemical properties we have studied. I'll not go back to those, children. We will revise later on. It's not that I'm not going to skip that part, but today my main focus will be on ionic compounds. Okay, my main focus, this things we have studied, it's not that I'm not going to take it forever. We will revise each and every part, and I guess, I hope so. We have already revised. The thing is, because of long period of gap, you may tend to forget it. No problem. But today my main aim is to teach you this part, children. This blue color. Last time you had written in your textbook, in your notebook also, I told you to write it. But what, in your exam, if any other salt come, because mainly, children, NaCl only is asked in your paper, but in case MgCl is asked, okay, it's how you are going to write this, because for this complete thing, children, you have 5 marks. Keep in mind. So they may ask you the question, differentiate ionic compounds and covalent compounds, and then write down how how NaCl is formed by the transfer of ions. Okay, keep in mind, covalent compounds में क्या होता है? In covalent compounds you will find sharing of electrons. Okay, like for example, I said that in your classroom, like you cannot give your textbook forever, you cannot take textbook forever. So what you can do in such cases, what we do, we share our textbook. Yeah, we share our textbook. Same way, children, electrons, what electrons they do, sorry. So in the case of covalent compounds, okay, there are two main types of compounds. The first thing, in class 9 we have seen what are we have n number of elements in the period. There are so many elements in the periodic table, from hydrogen to last element, 118th element. इतने सारे elements, there are so many elements: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium. So this, about this element you have studied in your lower classes, that is 9th standard. Also you are going to study in chapter 5. So ye element, now what happens, children, consider these element as a human being, like we people. So now you're attending my class, even I'm giving you, even I'm teaching you. So what actually is happening, we all human beings are trying to be stable on this planet. We are trying to gain knowledge, I'm trying to give knowledge. So we are trying to become stable in our lives. Okay, what is the actually meaning of why everybody morning, everybody gets up, like what actually is happening, children, with the human being? Just morning we get up, we are focused, you are just thinking about your studies, how I'm going to study, I'm going to get good marks, this, that. Even we human beings, like teachers, we get up, today we are going to teach this, we are going to do this, we plan out something. What actually is happening, why human being is running from one place to the other, like why doctors go from one place to the other, why, what actually is happening with us? We are trying to be stable in our life. हमें life में stable होना है. We want to achieve that goal. सेम थिंग हो रहा है एलिमेंट्स के साथ. ओके, दीज एलिमेंट्स ऑल्सो आर ट्राइंग टू अटेंड दैट their stability. उनको भी stable होना है. Every element every element, tiny atoms are there, every element want to be stable. Every person want to become, like we want to become stable in our life, we would desire to become stable in our life. Same way these elements also, जो elements होते हैं, इतने सारे elements जो periodic table में हैं, those elements want to be stable in their lives. Stable in their lives means what? Now how they are going to be stable in their life? Now these elements, they are going to give the electrons. Okay, if any of the element has less number, like for example, last period only we have discussed, I'll go to my whiteboard because that will be the best one so that I can explain you properly. So every element, okay, we have n number of elements, children. Abhi let's take hydrogen. Hydrogen के पास एक ही electron. Helium has 2 electrons. Okay, this is the common example. Every period I'll be taking. Let's take something different. Now just take carbon. What is the electron? Number of what is the atomic number? Roll number of carbon is 6. So what is the atomic? What actually is the atomic number? 6. Atomic number 6 है periodic table. What is the placement of carbon in the periodic table? 6 number पे carbon है. फर्स्ट नंबर पे हाइड्रोजन है, या लाइक यू विल फाइंड देयर आर प्लेसमेंट डिफरेंट डिफरेंट नाउ अकॉर्डिंग टू their roll numbers, according to their atomic numbers, elements are placed in the periodic table. So what is the atomic number, that many electrons they have. This carbon has 6 electrons. जितना atomic number है, that many electrons carbon has. So carbon has 6 electrons. So what will be the structure of carbon atom? There will be one nucleus, protons and neutrons will be there. And keep in mind what an atom has, P-E-N. So first orbit we have 2 electrons, that is compulsory. First orbit में 2 electron जाने ही चाहिए. It is compulsory that that is a duplet state. So duplex flat we have same way, duplex state, duplet, D-U-P-L-E-T, duplet. So next one, carbon, how you going to write the electronic configuration? First orbit में है 2 electrons, okay, then atomic number तो 6 है, yeah, atomic number of carbon is 6, so 6 minus 2 is 4. तो first orbit 2 electrons, second orbit 4 electrons. Am I audible, children? Hope so my mobile data works. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, miss.
Yeah, fine. So first orbit, in the first orbit we have 2 electrons, in the second orbit we have 4 electrons, 1 2 3 4. Okay, so what happens, children? What actually, as I've told you, every element is trying to attain stability. Attain means they're struggling for the stability. They want to become stable. So how they can be stable? Because the rule is, in the outermost orbit 8 electrons should be there. 8 electrons chahiye. But look at the carbon. Carbon has 4 electrons. So what carbon can do now? Okay, now the problem of carbon, if you will observe, carbon has it's a big problem. Now in the case of carbon, at least 4 electrons are there, and half of 8 is 4. Okay, so no, as last period I have told you, there are itne sare elements, there are so many elements, but not a element is so generous, okay, to give it's, wow, again somebody has admitted that only I was waiting for you, children. Okay, so what carbon does, children? Not only carbon but other elements also. Some elements, they give electrons and to become stable, and when they give electrons they become positively charged. That means they attain a charge when we donate something. And this I'm going to repeat 100 times, no problem, because many new students they join, like they have not joined the classes and also. So when we give electron, when any of the element, कोई भी element electrons दे के stable होता है, okay, when it donates the electrons and it becomes stable, in such cases that elements gain positive charge. Any of the elements, I'm going to take any element. Now any element, if it accepts the electron, if element is accepting the electrons from other elements and becoming stable, so that case it is in that case it's going to gain negative charge. But in some cases, children, carbon का तो exception है. What type of exception carbon has? Like उसके पास 4 ही electrons है. Half of 8 is 4. That means literally it needs 4 number of electrons. So what carbon is going to do? Carbon is neither going to take, carbon electrons ले भी नहीं सकता. Carbon cannot give electrons also, because if it takes electrons, okay, there's lot of because that lot of energy is required to store that to maintain that electron. Lot of energy is required to place the electrons in the shell. So carbon cannot take electrons. Carbon cannot give away the 4 electrons, because if it gives away 4 electrons, obviously the energy level, the whole atomic structure is going to get distorted. Okay, now this is the structure. Keep in mind, first orbit, second orbit में 4 electron है. Carbon cannot give electron. Carbon cannot give electron. Carbon cannot take electron. So what carbon does? Carbon shares electrons. Carbon, what carbon does? Carbon shares electrons. जब हम किसी को, like for example, we cannot give textbook forever. We cannot take textbook forever. So in such cases, we share our textbooks. Okay, like how I'm sharing my screen with you, same way carbon also shares its electrons. Okay, now children, why they're sharing? In order to, like in this process they form compounds. Elements को stable होना है. Okay, in this process they give electrons, they take electrons, and in this giving and taking process they form different compounds. What do they form? They form compounds. Okay, they combine with other elements to form different compounds. So in such cases, there are two types of cases, children. In some cases, when they share electrons, because like in some cases they cannot donate electrons, they cannot accept electrons. When they share the electrons and they form compounds, such compounds are known as covalent compounds. Co-partner, she is my co-partner. That means we share some, like the things, books, pens and all. So covalent compounds. But in some compounds, when sharing of, like transfer of some compounds are formed by transfer of ions. Some compounds are formed by transfer of ions. What are ions? Positive ions, negative ions. So when are formed by transfer of ions, such compounds are known as ionic compounds. Because ion, obviously ion word to hai. So ionic compounds. So there are two main, this is the guaranteed question, children, guaranteed MCQs. Many of the questions will be asked based on this. Ionic compounds, covalent compounds. Many questions you are going to get on basis of this. So what are ionic compounds? What are the properties of ionic compounds, which we will be studying now. So just keep in mind which are the two main types of compound. इतना ही ध्यान में रखना है. What actually are the just I've downloaded with some images. I'll just show you. I'm not getting it now. Gone. Really, it's headache. The more we use this, yeah. Okay, fine. So I have two main types of compounds. Okay, I'll just show you so that you shouldn't get confused what Miss is telling. So I had downloaded last time. Even I had sent it to you, children. And I'm not, yeah. So this, we have the two main types of compounds. So this is the, and when they share, when they transfer, they different bonds are formed, children. And that when they share something, when they share electrons, that in that process they form covalent bonds. And when the transfer of electrons takes place, in such cases the bond form will be ionic bond. Okay, so there are two main types of compounds, covalent compounds and ionic compounds. Covalent compounds are formed by formation of covalent bonds. और covalent bonds कैसे form होते हैं? Covalent bonds are formed by sharing of electrons. What are ionic compounds? Ionic compounds are formed by the transfer of electrons. Okay, electrons transfer होते हैं. And in such cases, children, transfer of electrons, you have to remember this. And they are formed by, you have to say that they are formed by the formation of ionic bonds. And how these ionic bonds are going to form? These ionic bonds are going to form by the transfer of electrons. So you have to keep in mind, what is the main difference between covalent compounds and ionic compounds. Covalent compound sharing, co-partner, you have to remember. Ionic may obviously transfer of electrons. So this you have to remember, children, how it is covalent bonding. Okay, this is by sharing. Look at this. Covalent bond is by sharing. These two dogs are sharing their bones. Yeah, they are coming together, they are sharing their bone, and this is a covalent bonding. Whereas look at this, ionic bonding, only now I'm saying transfer of ions. Okay, transfer of ions means one atom is giving away ion to the other. So obviously the element which gives away the ions, those are the metals. Okay, mainly all the metals. How many metals? There are so many metals in the periodic table. Only metals have the tendency of losing their electron. Losing the electrons means donating the electrons. जो only metals they give away electrons. Look at this. This one doggy, a dog is that is the positively only the transfer of electron takes place. Transfer obviously negative to kuch they cannot give anything. So non-metal, whenever any ionic compound is formed, you have to remember that it is formed by combination of a metal, because metal ही transfer कर सकता है ions, and the other will be non-metal. So at least we have understood this, children. I want somebody to tell me what are the at least one difference between ionic compound. Everybody speak. What is the one? Which bonds are formed? Everybody has to speak. Let disturb your family. No problem. So which bonds are formed in covalent compounds? Everyone. Which bonds are formed in covalent compounds? Everyone. कोवैलेंट कंपाउंड्स में कौन से बॉन्ड है? या जस्ट टेल मी which bonds. I'm not audible, children. Everyone say loudly, no problem. Which bonds are formed in covalent compounds? You're thinking which bonds are... Yes, Diksha, which bonds? I don't want to point out anyone. Everybody speak. Which bonds are formed in covalent compounds? Dash type of bonds are formed in covalent compounds. Everyone, children. Don't do this. When I start asking questions, don't leave, children. Let it be. If you don't know, just keep quiet. No problem. You know, after 1 minute at least, I'm only going to give answer. Yes or no? So I want to leave, children. It's not that don't leave the class, children. Even though if you don't know, just be quiet. No problem. At least somebody will speak. If somebody won't speak, I'm there to speak. So just be quiet if you don't know. Or if you speak wrong also, I'll appreciate you. No problem. Okay, don't know. So keep again and again I'm repeating. Somebody spoke. Yes, Yuvraj.
Atoms.
Yes, once again.
Miss Atoms.
Okay, 1 minute. Listen carefully. Everyone, don't look here and there. Listen carefully. There are two types of compounds. कितने type है? Two types. Okay, keep in mind there are mainly two types of compounds. The two main types of compounds are covalent compounds and ionic compounds. Okay, covalent compounds. What is the meaning of compound? I'm saying compound. What is the meaning of compound? Atom combine होके compound form होगा. Okay, when atoms and atoms combine together, they form compounds. क्यों combine हो रहे हैं? Because they want to become stable. Like how we are struggling to achieve a goal in our life. Same way, these atoms also, they try to be stable. So there are two main types of compounds. Okay, two main types. One is the covalent compound, covalent. Second one is ionic compound. Okay, two types of compounds, covalent compounds, ionic compounds. In covalent compound, children, the bonds are formed by sharing of electrons. Share होते co-partner, covalent. So in covalent compounds, the bonds are formed by sharing of electrons. In ionic compounds, the bonds are formed by transfer of ions. The bonds are formed by transfer of ions. So how we are going to, if I'm going to ask you this question, what are covalent compounds? The covalent compounds are formed by the sharing of electrons. Again I'm repeating, covalent compounds are formed by sharing of electrons, whereas ionic compounds are formed by transfer of electrons. Okay, एक electron transfer of ions, obviously transfer of electrons. Obviously if you're saying, so it will be ions, mainly ions or only they are going to get transferred. So here in this case you are going to remember, in the case of ionic compounds, a metal combines with a non-metal. A positive charge metal combines with a negative charge non-metal. Did you get it? Everyone repeat it. Which you have to just going to answer me now. Which compound is formed by transfer of electrons, transfer of ions?
Ionic compounds.
Very good, children. Very good, children. So dash again. Don't get confused. Something is linked, children. Transfer of ions means ionic compounds. A compound which is formed by sharing of electrons is dash.
Covalent.
Covalent compound.
Covalent compound.
Covalent compound. Did you get it, children? Don't get confused. This is the main difference between covalent compounds and ionic compounds. In covalent compounds, dash type of bonds are formed. कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड्स ओनली ओके कोवैलेंट कंपाउंड्स में कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड्स ही होंगे एंड आयनिक कंपाउंड्स में व्हाट टाइप ऑफ बॉन्ड्स ionic bonds. Okay, now what is what miss is saying bonding and all, what you are going to get confused. Let's look at this. Okay, so children, look at this. If you are still confused what miss is saying about bonds and all, what is actually happening, children? If एक compound दूसरे से combine होता है, okay, for example carbon. Okay, carbon want to become stable. Now carbon तो stable नहीं है, so if what a carbon does, sharing, so carbon combines with other carbon atom, okay, or it combines with other carbon atom. When combines with other को combine, when it combines, children, okay, it forms particular bond. Like we have, like we particular person is my friend, so we have a bond between me and my friend. That means she or me, or like we have the best friends. There is a good bonding between. Bonding means nothing but there's a kind of attachment. Okay, bonding is nothing but a kind of attachment. So this bonding you are going to find between these two atoms के बीच में bonds form होंगे. So in the case of covalent compounds, covalent bonds will be formed. In the case of ionic compounds, ionic bonds will be formed. Okay, it's very easy, nothing to worry, only you have to write the that particular name only. Now very important thing is, children, I hope so at least this you have understood. Okay, everybody has understood what actually are the covalent compounds and ionic compounds? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, still confused? Anybody still confused? I'm back to Vidyartha. How you come? Okay, if anybody has doubt between like still you have not understood covalent compounds or ionic compounds? Not understood? At least I'll repeat it at the end, don't worry. But now we are going to see what are the properties. Nothing to worry, no much things are there about this, about covalent compounds. About covalent compounds you will be studying in chapter number 4, that is about carbon compounds. Okay, so in this chapter, now this part, we have the properties of ionic compounds. Okay, what are ionic compounds? Now this blue color thing, you will ask me, miss, what is actually this blue color thing? So this is very important. How you are going to write this, let's see. I'll just show you. Okay, you are going to remember, children, first step number 1, when this question comes, write the compound formation, or write the write the steps in which the transfer of electrons, ions takes place in the process of formation of compound when X combines with Y, something any other, like it is a basic table salt. So like no such question will be asked directly, children. So X question, like X will be Na, that is sodium. So and it will be asked in twisted and turned form. You have to just try to identify. Yes, it is only 1 or 2 examples we have, that is it may be MgCl2 or it may be NaCl. So first example, simple means what they will ask, how a compound is formed, how this NaCl is formed. So only we are going to just think how it is formed. What is the atomic number of sodium? 11 hai. What is the atomic number of chlorine? Everyone, 17. So what is the electronic configuration? First orbit 2 electrons. Second orbit, how many electrons are compulsory? 8 electrons. यहाँ पे भी इट इज़ फिक्स. फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स चाहिए, सेकेंड ऑर्बिट में 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स चाहिए. सो व्हाट अबाउट द थर्ड ऑर्बिट? लेट्स सी. 8 + 2 is 10. So what about the third orbit? How many electrons it will need in third orbit? 1. 1 will, yes, very good. So next one, chlorine. 8 + 2 is 10. 17 minus 10, 7. Everybody has understood this. कुछ नहीं करना, you don't have to worry. First you have to see what is the atomic number. इसका 11 है, atomic number is 11. इन एवरी एलिमेंट फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट में 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स चाहिए एवरीवेयर. यू आर गोइंग टू राइट, सी लुक हियर, आई एम राइटिंग इट टू. सेकेंड ऑर्बिट 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन चाहिए ही चाहिए. वी नीड 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, दैट इज कंपल्सरी. सो 8 plus 2, your 8 plus 2 is 10. Sodium के, how many sodium has electrons? 11. So 8 plus 2 10. So 11 minus 10 is 1. So last orbit में कितने electrons है? 1. Sodium has 1 electrons in the last orbit. What I'm writing this is the electronic configuration. So chlorine has 17 electrons. फर्स्ट ऑर्बिट में तो 2 चाहिए एवरीवेयर. एवरीवेयर, इट्स नॉट दैट वाई मिस इज राइटिंग हियर ओनली. एवरीवेयर हाइड्रोजन, फ्रॉम हाइड्रोजन टू एलिमेंट नंबर 118, फर्स्ट in their orbit, for in the first orbit 2 electrons are compulsory. Second orbit, that is the K shell 2 electrons, L shell 8 electrons. So that is compulsory, and remaining electrons in the third orbit. So remaining here it will be 7. Look at this. How many electrons sodium needs? 7 electrons चाहिए 8 होने के लिए. Every atom is trying to complete its stability. 8 electrons चाहिए यहाँ पे. बट what is the number of electrons sodium has? एक ही है इसके पास, 1 ही है. तो how many electrons sodium needs everyone? How many electrons sodium needs? 7.
7.
Nobody is so foolish to give sodium 7 electrons. Sodium को stable होना है, उसको 7 electrons चाहिए. But nobody is going to nobody will be ready to give 7 electrons because those are too many. Even any of the element has those number of extra electrons, but they won't give because their atomic structure will be distorted. So chlorine needs, यहाँ पे chlorine के पास 7 electrons है, तो chlorine needs 1 electrons. Good combination. सोडियम को चाहिए 7 electrons, there is something chlorine को चाहिए 1 electrons. So why not they come together to complete the octet state? Yeah, 7 plus 1 is 8. Yes or no, something. Let's see how they are going to come together. Okay, how they are going to come? They are going to come together to come in order to complete their stability. So sodium, what is the number of electrons? So let's write it. Sodium के पास है 1 electron. So I'm going to mark it as 1 dot. This what I'm drawing is known as Lewis dot structure. In your paper, this question will be asked. Write the compound formation of sodium chloride by the Lewis, this fellow, Lewis dot structure. He said LEWWIS, Lewis dot structure. So सोडियम के पास लास्ट ऑर्बिट में कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स है? 1 electron. Okay. Chlorine has how many electrons in the last shell? Look at this. 2, 8, 1. लास्ट ऑर्बिट के इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को डॉट स्ट्रक्चर में रिप्रेजेंट करना है. So which how many electrons it has in the last orbit? 1. So यहाँ पे 1. Chlorine has 2, 8, 7. So chlorine has 7 electrons in the last shell. Yes or no? So how you are going to represent? Even though if I am saying Lewis dot structure, एक electron, like for one atom you can use dot, and for other atom you can use cross. Okay, wrong mark, x. So how many x? ये हो गए 2 electrons, 4 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So sodium's electrons I have denoted by a dot. It is denoted by a dot here. एक ही electron है outermost shell में. And chlorine, if you observe, okay, chlorine has 7 electrons in the outermost shell. So I have represented by cross mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, my cross are looking like stars, but in your exam, neatly with your pencil, you are going to draw the cross mark. Okay, so now children keep in mind sodium को भी stable होना है, chlorine को भी stable होना है. So why not they come together? Okay, if they come together, children, so what is going to happen? It's a very simplest way that they together when they come, they can complete their stability. How? Let's see. Now sodium can share its one ion with, okay, chlorine. Okay, so when they come together, children, okay, now sodium chloride, when they come together, how the structure will look like? Okay, sodium के पास एक electron है. Okay, sodium, I'll just, okay, sodium has that one electron. This is one electron of that sodium, and chlorine has seven. So एक, दो, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So they have formed a compound. कैसे form? Look at this. Now look at this sodium. Obviously sodium has, yeah, given the electron. Obviously, like, it's not given, children, but it has shared the electron. So sodium has completed its stability. Okay, sodium has, now sodium transferred one ion, so that is electron. So sodium के last orbit में 8 electrons है, so it has completed its stability. Chlorine has 8 electrons, so chlorine has completed its stability. So when they have come together, children, obviously both, like, by transferring this electron, sodium has completed its stability, and by it's not accepting, but by, you will observe, obviously chlorine has 8 number of electrons now, that is 1 electron from sodium. Obviously chlorine has completed its stability. This way, when sodium chloride, when they have come together to form a compound, they have attained their stability. This structure neatly you will be drawing or writing in your paper. First you have to write the symbol, then you have to write the electronic configuration, and then you have to write what actually is going to happen here. Sodium is going to give one electron, so it's going to get a charge. They, like, sodium is giving something, we are donating something, so sodium is going to get the positive charge. Sodium is going to be positively charged, so sodium electron will be plus. Okay, giving something, that means positively charged. Chlorine is accepting, that means chlorine is going to get that negative charge. Okay, so first step you will be writing symbol. Second step, the electronic configuration. Then you will draw the Lewis dot structure. Lewis. Okay, just don't forget the spelling. This will be asked in your paper, children. At least it may be asked for 3 marks. How? Okay, like 3 marks singly, like simple draw the structure, they will ask for 3 marks, or they may ask a combined question for 5 marks. That means draw the structure along with the differentiation of ionic compounds and covalent compounds. I hope so you have understood this, children. Don't have any I'm assuming that you have understood. So this is the thing, children. Look at this. Sodium, the electronic configuration is 281. Now sodium, look at this, what is the electron? By giving one electron, by transferring one electron, sodium has attained the positive charge. It has attained its attended, like, if you observe, it has attained its stability. That means in the last orbit sodium has 8 electrons. Chlorine, if you observe, 287, sodium has chlorine has accepted one electron. So what is this? What will be the electronic configuration? 288. So look at this, look at the transfer, how it is happening. Sodium has that dot electron which is transferred to chlorine, and you can see the structure. Sodium Na plus, obviously sodium has given that electron, that means sodium ke paas positive charge, and chlorine has accepted that electron, that means chlorine has gain, or anything you can write, gain negative charge. So chlorine has that is, you're going to get 2 types of ions here. Positive ion, that is sodium, and negative ion, that is chlorine. So this is the formation of sodium chloride. Same way we have the formation of magnesium chloride. Okay, magnesium chloride, something it's different. Okay, let's see what is happening in magnesium chloride. So in the case of magnesium chloride, children, what is the atomic number? Abhi sodium, magnesium. After sodium, you will find what is the atomic number. Sodium ka atomic number 11. Magnesium's atomic number is 12. Okay. So what will be the atomic electronic configuration? 2, 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. So last orbit, how many electrons? 2 electrons. Chlorine, we have, what is the atomic number, as we have seen in the last one. Chlorine's electronic configuration is 2, 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. 17 minus 10 is 7. So now here it is different, something different, children. Magnesium has 2 electrons in the last shell and chlorine has 7 electrons in the last shell. जो dots you are going to draw, children, those dots are on the basis of the last shell. Okay, now look at this, how you are going to draw the dot structure of magnesium. Magnesium के पास कितने electrons हैं? How many electrons magnesium has in the last orbit? Let's see, 2, 8 and 2, 8 and 2. Why 2, 8, 2? 2 to orbit, first orbit 2 electrons, second orbit 8 electrons. 8 plus 2 is 10. Last orbit में 2 electrons because the atomic number of magnesium is 12. Yes, 12. So 12 means 2 plus 8 plus 2 is 12. So how you are going to write the dot structure? Magnesium dot structure means कितने electrons last orbit में है? 2. So here you are going to draw 2 dots. Okay, but it's not that how you're going to draw 2 dots, children, now. Okay, how you're going to draw? It's like one, here one magnesium. Okay, it has the dot structure. Okay, somebody has joined. Okay, other one we have the here one dot. So magnesium, it's not that Miss textbook we have, it's given in the this direction, you have drawn up. Nowhere, children, no, don't worry, anywhere you can draw the dots. Okay, don't worry that Miss you have drawn up, down, anyway according to the sharing you can write these dots anywhere. So this is one electron, ye dusra electron. So magnesium has how many electrons? 2 electrons. Second one we have chlorine. Yeah, ye chlorine atom ka what is the 287? Okay, so 287 means what? Look at this now. 287 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now magnesium chloride, they have, because they want to attend their, they want to complete their stability, they are going to come together to form a compound. So let's see magnesium, what this magnesium will do, this will give one electron to this chlorine. अभी स्टेबल नहीं है, स्टिल इट इज़ नॉट स्टेबल. मैग्नीशियम अभी भी स्टेबल नहीं है. ये क्लोरीन तो स्टेबल हो गया. ओके, दिस हैज़ बिकम स्टेबल. सो व्हाट अबाउट दी अदर वन? अभी एक इलेक्ट्रॉन और एक बचा है. व्हाट मैग्नीशियम कैन डू? So for that purpose magnesium will combine with another chlorine atom. For this it has to, because one more electron it has. So this is the other chlorine atom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what magnesium is going to do? Magnesium will combine with this, another electron will be shared with the other chlorine atom. This way, I don't know how much you have understood, but let's see. But this way, what will be the formula, children? The formula will be MgCl2. Why 2? Because magnesium was having 2 electrons. Sodium was having only 1 electron in the shell. So it was very easy to give that 1 electron to chlorine and formation of compound. It was very easy. But now magnesium has 2 electrons. So एक इलेक्ट्रॉन दिया एक क्लोरीन एटम को, ये क्लोरीन एटम हो गया स्टेबल. So what about this one other electron? So it's going to call up other एक और एक चाहिए क्लोरीन एटम. So yeah, it's going to combine with the other chlorine atom and then you're going to find a new compound is formed, that is magnesium chloride. So this way I'm just going, this is, you are going to easily understand by looking at this. Look at this. In the formation of magnesium chloride, as the atomic number of magnesium chloride is 12 and it has 2 electrons in the last shell, you will find magnesium gives away 2 electrons. Okay, 2 electrons means how you are going to write? Mg2 plus. 3 electrons share हो गए तो X 3 plus. Okay, but here Mg is sharing 2 electrons, so it will be 2 plus. Okay, and chlorine is accepting 1 electron, so it's going to be E minus. That means electron by negative charge. So look at this, children. Mg has 2 electrons, so one it has given to one chlorine atom, other electron it gave to the other chlorine atom, and then in this way Mg plus 2. Okay, you are going to find Mg plus 2, that means 2 plus, because Mg is donating 2 electrons, so 2 plus. And chlorine, if you observe, okay, chlorine, it's only like we have 2 chlorine atoms involved in this formation of magnesium chloride. So you are going to find Cl2. So MgCl2, a new compound is formed. So now children, in the last part of the chapter, I'll just take 5 minutes and I'll leave you. Surely I'll leave you. So properties of ionic compounds. What are the, yeah, now these we have seen that what actually is this? Ye to ions transfer, because what is happening here? Now you will say, Miss, how ions are involved here? You are saying electrons are transferred, ke yahan pe ions kahan pe? So electrons when they are transferring, children, okay, when they are transferring that electrons, ek to one is giving the electron, other is accepting. In that process ion formation happens here. You can see they are forming cations and anions by giving electrons, by accepting electrons. Formation of ions and cations and anions takes place. So only this type of compounds are ionic compounds. Okay, now don't say that, Miss, you are saying transfer of electrons, I'm confused. Don't worry, children. Okay, because here ion formation takes place. If it is giving positive ions, it is forming. Obviously transfer role, I mean, if it is giving positive, it is accepting negative. So this way, by the formation, by this transfer of ions or electrons, an ionic compound is formed. These properties are very, very important. Don't look here and there. Very, very important. And this experiment also, it's very easiest one. Don't worry, nothing is there in this. Now in your house also you can try this, children. Take a salt sample on a spatula. Simple. You can try it in your house. Okay, if you don't have this burner, you can just take your candle. Try this experiment. If you get time, children, then only send the video. Don't worry, it's not compulsory, but try to send it, children. It's very interesting one. When you do something, that children, you will learn, children. So it's simple. You have to take one candle, take little salt on a spoon. Okay, in the laboratory we are going, we have different equipments like burner we have, then spatula is a small spoon into which we are going to take little salt. What is the simplest one? What we are going to do? We are going to heat it. Simple, just try to heat that salt. Simply, not just no other chemicals involved in this. What you have to do? Heat that salt. So children, in this process, you have to tell me the observation, what actually happens here. When you heat a salt, what actually happens? Okay, in this process, children, when you heat it, when you heat any wax, when you heat any other, like just take water, when you heat water, obviously that water will get vanished away. It's going to get evaporated. When you heat wax, it's going to get converted into liquid. It gets molten off. What about this salt? What is going to happen to the salt? Because salt is an ionic compound. Salt में कौन involved है? एक तो Na plus है, that is the positive ion, and other one is chlorine, that is negative ion. So children, when they form the compounds, they are the strongest one, children, because literally both are opposite, and when they form a type of compound, they form a strongest compound. So what are the properties? Okay, because if nothing, it's not going to, if you observe because salt will neither get evaporated, neither it's going to get molten, it needs higher temperature to get molten off, and it's either it's not going to vanish away anywhere. Okay, it's not good, because literally when a compound is formed, when an ionic compound is formed, you will find crystals there. Okay, in any koi bhi ionic compound hai, okay, if you take any of the salt, you will find crystals in this type of compounds. You will never find any liquefied structure. Ionic always in this compound, always in the case of ionic compounds, you will observe crystal formation, crystals of the compound, because they are very strongly bonded to each other. So let's see the properties. Physical nature. Okay, physical nature. Nobody has come. Fine. Physical nature. Ionic compounds are solid. Okay, always keep in mind, this is very important. I'll give you the short, or no, I'll just give short points also. This is, but just try to revise what is there in the textbook. Ionic compounds are solids. Mainly they are solids. Whenever you speak, whenever I am discussing, or you are thinking about ionic compounds, think about the Tata namak, the salt which we eat. Okay, that is the best example. And copper sulfate. Okay, these two are, one is the laboratory scientific, like something will be asked that is a sign related to laboratory. See, copper sulfate, CuSO4. Physical nature, ionic compounds. What is the physical nature? That is means outer property. Ionic compounds are solid, and are somewhat hard because of the strong force of attraction between the positive and the negative ions. Because एक तो positive and negative दोनों opposite involved है, so obviously they are very strongest one. These compounds are generally brittle. What is the meaning of brittle? When you bang on it, when you just beat it up, it gets converted into powder. Okay, they literally they are going to find they can be broken off very easily, like not broken off, but the bonds cannot be broken off, but the crystals can be broken off very easily. It easily you can make powder of it. So generally brittle and break into pieces when pressure is applied. Okay, second one, melting and boiling point. They have the highest melting and boiling point. This is because a considerable amount of energy is required to break the strong inter-ionic attraction. Because इतना मेहनत से, look at this, literally you can observe this structure. The transfer of ions, it needs like attraction, force of attraction to like transfer the electrons. Like what happens when they combine together, when they combine together, children, they combine with a very strongest bond. They cannot be broken off very easily. Okay, then next one, children, solubility. These compounds are generally soluble in water. They are like salt. Whenever I'm speaking about any compound like ionic compound, you have to keep tata namak in your mind. So they are soluble in water, and they are insoluble in solvents like kerosene, petrol, etc. Obviously salt cannot be dissolved in kerosene, petrol. Okay, so next one, conduction of electricity. The conduction of electricity through a solution involves the movement of charged particles. Okay, so obviously when you add salt into water, obviously Na plus and Cl minus, they are going to get, yeah, there will be ion form there. You will find that dissociation of ions, so they conduct electricity. Ionic compounds conduct electricity, but they conduct electricity in molten state. Now you will, if you will take wire and you will pass on this salt, it's not going to transfer it. Like it's not real simple. In the container, if you have salt and if you're taking live wire and you're just going to put into that, it won't conduct electricity. You have to put that salt into water, because when you're going to put into water, there will be ion dissociation of ion, and that salt is going to get dissociate as Na plus and Cl minus. Then because there will be free ions, and these free ions only can conduct electricity. Okay, so I'll just show you some pictures and I'll leave you, children. Okay, I had download. So this is the strong bond formation, children. Like NaCl, the red ones are, look at this, children. Nice. When you bang on it, they literally they get, you'll find the tiny structures, they get separated. Bonds won't get separated, children, but they are very brittle. The crystals can be powder, that they can be converted into powder very easily. Next one, these are I'll just send this in the group, children. Write it in your classwork. Very easy, I've sent. They form crystals, hard and brittle, high melting and boiling point. Like they don't conduct electricity as solids. Keep in mind, if I'm saying that like normal crystals, you cannot pass on electricity. You have to just in the molten form, you have to add the salt crystals into water, so that you will get free ions. For the that free ions only can conduct electricity. They are just other points are something different. They are soluble in water and insoluble in non-polar solvents. Non-polar solvents are petrol, then we have kerosene, then high enthalpies of fusion and vaporization. That means it's not there for you, but even though I'll tell you, they don't vaporize easily. Okay, and solids are good insulators. Like for example, salts in the solid state, they are good insulators, but in the molten state, when you add into water, they are good conductors. Okay, so this were the properties. Now look at this. Salt is easily getting dissolved into water. Okay, these salts, like so ionic compounds, mainly all the ionic compounds, they are easily soluble in water, solvents like water. And you have to remember, like water, normal water, and if you add NaCl into it, they conduct electricity. Because what is happening there, look at this, Na plus, obviously something is wrong there, Na plus, and it is Cl minus. So they, okay, the electricity is conducted. So children, you may leave now if you have it. And this, children, one more, occurrence of metals, as I have told you earlier, it is cancelled. So today you don't have this for your, as reported by CBSE, 30% deduction, deletion of portion. This part you don't have, children. Okay, you don't have this part, that is occurrence of metals, how the metals are. Even though it was interesting, children, I don't know why they have cancelled, but fine, no problem. You just, whenever you have time, I'll just give you some assignments on this or simple activity, not now, but just keep in mind occurrence of metals. So you have till, you have to study till this only, okay, this part only, the ions move freely and conduct electricity. So occurrence of metals is cancelled. So children, keep in mind term and portion we have completed today, and it's just be with your textbook, children. Do not refer any of the notes. As I've told you, you will be fascinated, you will be attracted to those fancy notes your seniors will be giving you, or any of the companies will be approaching you. Oswal you refer, this Rachna Sagar you refer, the nothing is going to come apart from the textbook, children. So by heart your textbook, learn each and every part of the textbook should be known to you, children. I'll leave you because you shouldn't miss your next class. At least you should get 2 minutes rest for your next class. Okay, you may leave now, children. If you have not understood anything, let me know. Okay, thank you, children. Thank you, children.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, children.